Welcome back to At the Table. I'm Lisa, and I'm glad you're here. Last week, I stepped away for a few days and went on a girls' retreat. No appointments, no showings, no content creation, just a few days to slow down, spend time with friends, and step away from the normal routine. And really, it was exactly what I needed. But when I got home, I jumped right back into life, and we spent time cleaning out our RV and getting it ready to sell. There was work waiting, things to do, and all the usual responsibilities. But something from that retreat stayed with me. It got me thinking about what happens when we finally get quiet. I think most of us live with more noise than we realize. Not just outside noise, but mental noise, notifications, schedules, social media, work responsibilities, the endless list of things that need our attention. And after a while, we get so used to that noise that we stop even noticing it's there. We just keep moving because stopping feels uncomfortable. We stay busy because busy feels productive. And sometimes we become so focused on managing our lives that we forget to actually experience them. One of the things that struck me during this retreat was what people talked about when life slowed down. Nobody was talking about needing a bigger house or more square footage. Nobody was talking about buying more stuff, although we did a little. But nobody was actually talking about keeping up with anybody else. What they talked about was wanting more time, more peace, more connection, more meaningful relationships, and room to breathe. And I thought it was interesting, because those are the same conversations I often have with my clients. As a realtor, people often assume that the conversation is always about bedrooms and bathrooms and acreage and square footage. But if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, and that's not very long, you know that's usually not the real conversation. The real conversation sounds more like, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I don't want to spend hours driving in traffic, I want to know my neighbors, or I want a slower pace, I want space for my grandkids to visit, or just I want to enjoy this next chapter of life. The house is often just the vehicle. The real goal is the life they're trying to create. And here's something I've learned. Sometimes the answer isn't moving. Sometimes the answer isn't a new house. Sometimes the answer is simply creating enough quiet to figure out what's missing. Because when we finally get still, we start hearing things we've been too busy to hear. Maybe we realize we're overcommitted. Maybe we realize we've lost touch with people who matter. Maybe we realize we're spending our time building a life that no longer fits who we've become. And those aren't always easy realizations, but they're important ones. Since coming home, I have found myself asking a simple question. Am I building a life I actually enjoy living? Not someday, not after the next goal, not after the next transaction, not after retirement, but right now. Because life has a way of slipping by while we're busy preparing it. And I don't think I'm alone in asking that question. Let me know in the comments. So today I'd like to leave you with the same question. What happens when you finally get quiet? What rises to the surface when the distractions fade away? What have you been too busy to hear? Maybe the answer is a move. Maybe it's a change in priorities, or maybe it's simply making more room for the people and things you love. Whatever it is, I hope you give yourself enough space to listen. Thanks for joining me at the table today. And until next time, remember, most people don't actually want more house, they want a different kind of life.